It's a bull. Hey, good morning. What's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the live Deerfield camera up, and yes, that is a live underwater cam for you folks that are just clicking on my videos and haven't seen these before. And you can view it anytime yourself at the live Deerfield Beach underwater cam. There's really some cool stuff. If you're a fisherman, this is a must-have on your bookmark bar. But I know we're not here to talk about fish as much as I'd like to. When I grew up, I'd rather have been a fisherman or something like that, not a coin dealer and a precious metal dealer. I'm only teasing. I love what I do. Well, hey, the coins keeps hitting bulls here. I'm kind of thinking this coin is faulty. I'm looking on the rim. There are some little dents from being dropped before, but the consistency of these bulls is just making me to believe that maybe this coin is just picking out the long-term, medium-term here, because it hasn't been picking out the short-term for the last week or so. But coin flips are kind of funny. You have a 50-50 chance supposedly will be the way, but gosh, this one just keeps coming up bull. Well, let's kind of move along to what we're doing. I hope you had a great weekend. I relaxed, got a lot done actually. Washed the cars and did all kinds of cool stuff. I even went to the beach swimming. It was crowded out there, man. It was just busier than hell on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, crowds everywhere. Let's do a quick refresh on markets and see what we got going on here. And here we go. Where are we at? 1757, the lowest overnight. Markets opened up last night, overnight markets, obviously. 1744.27 being the low last night, 1761 being the high. Not sure what time that occurred. I was going to go look at markets last night, and I said, I'm not going to do it. Why? Why get hung up on these short-term little overnight markets and these little weekly markets? It'll drive you crazy if you're doing that all the time, and you're not in the business. I'm in the business, so I have to look at it every day. I don't have to look at it on Saturdays, obviously. And Sundays, it's my choice if I want to look at the overnight markets, and sometimes I don't. It's really meaningless in the long term, as the coin may be pointing out here, the bull coin. Current silver market right now, $22.38. Boy, they wanted to touch that $21 level, it looks like. Overnight markets looked like they sucked big time. 22.07 overnight. I'm not sure if that happened. Gosh, it looks like it happened in the evening trading on thinly traded markets. Either that or the Asian market. I got to look. Anybody know what time Chinese markets in Hong Kong and the Asian markets open up, and what trading hours they're at? I'm going to have to look here. I really should know this, but I don't. But sometime in the evening, is this a result of Evergrande, perhaps? Silver particularly, because silver is used in industrial purposes as well, may be stockpiled in China. So we could be seeing a couple things getting hit here. We could see Evergrande having an effect on the price of silver. Again, silver more industrial uses than platinum. Not platinum. Sorry, platinum's got really whacked. Take a look at these numbers. But silver having more industrial uses than gold. So henceforth, but I was going to say henceforth, that's why it's lower and it's gone down lower than gold has, probably in the terms of percentage points. But really, though, that's not. Whenever gold makes a move, silver will make a more dramatic move. I mean, that's just typical. So I'm not sure that's necessarily true either, what I just said. But silver does make these big dramatic moves when gold moves up or down. But sometimes when gold moves up quite a bit, silver will lag a little bit behind. But when it does make the move, wow, watch out. But right now, looks like the 22.07 was put in at the low. And again, was that Asian markets, or was that some thinly traded market overnight where the markets get monkey hammered by some entity whose sole purpose is to knock the markets down? That happens frequently, folks. Don't let anyone tell you that manipulation doesn't happen. It even happens during times if there's news out, bad news that would presumably seem bad for gold and silver. That's when they'll monkey hammer. They know exactly when to put the monkey hammers on, and it usually happens, like I said, in thinly traded markets overnight. However, this may be a result of this could also be a result of Asian markets selling off the somewhat industrial white metals here. Take a look at platinum, 911. Holy crap! And a high of 944. Man, I'm going to put the buy signal out. I've been doing it for quite some time. Platinum's been below this $1,000 level. Fortunately, you haven't had to rush in to buy to hit the dips on this, because we are almost there. If we get any lower than this, man, just buy what you can. A lot of these platinum and palladium is used in industrial. Look at that, palladium really got whacked too, $1,900. I suspect this has something to do with industrial uses. I'm pretty confident that's probably the case. And again, when there's blood in the streets in any market, platinum, palladium, silver, when there's blood in the streets in the stock market, sometimes you got to go for it. That's the best time to buy. I forget who said that. Was that one of the Rothschilds or something? When there's blood in the street, buy, buy, buy. However, here's a good thing about buying precious metals. Unlike buying stocks and bonds and equities and those kind of things, is that gold, silver, platinum, and palladium will never go bankrupt. It'll never go to zero. It'll never be worthless. Not in our lifetimes, at least not in our children's or their children's lifetimes. I'm certain of that. It'll never go broke. It'll never go to zero. It'll never go bankrupt. However, when there's blood in the streets in the equities market, you just don't know. You could buy a stock. It sounds super cheap. Back when Bank of America went from $83, 2008, $83 down to $3 a share. It was a risky move buying Bank of America. If they didn't get the bailouts, and these banks didn't get bailouts, that would have been a $0 stock, worthless. Fortunately, not fortunately for them. The banks bailed out everybody back then. That's that's a whole different story, though. So that's my feelings on this, is that we're seeing possibly some overnight markets, maybe due to Asian markets selling off these more industrial-like metals. In which case, I think that you may see gold start to climb up, because gold is where, not as much as an industrial metal, but gold is where the money will go when people are unsure of markets, and when smart money, really smart money, not what they call smart money, when smart money realizes, there's a problem here, they're going to pile into gold. Asians too. I mean, more likely the Asian markets are going to do that, and I kind of think we're seeing that a little bit. Look, down, 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 all the industrial metals. Look, gold kind of holding its own at this level. Doesn't mean to say we can't see lower gold prices and still lower silver prices from here. We very well could. Remember, I've been talking for a year and a half about the Lehman crisis, the 2008 crisis that we had that drove prices. It did contrary to what people thought it was going to do. Gold and silver and platinum prices and palladium prices across the board in 2008 during the Lehman crisis just went to shit. They went way down. I think gold was around the high of about 940 or something like that. Went down to, what was it? The high, mid-sevens, I think, at the low point. And a couple $100 drop, which for a metal under $1,000 was quite substantial. And I got to look. I forgot what silver did, but silver took even a harder drop. But it was all in the paper markets. There was no physical capitulation. I was on the front lines. I'm a frontline dealer. I've been doing this since 1977. I'm a retailer and a wholesaler of precious metals and rare coins. Again, been doing this a long time. And we saw no physical capitulation during that time. It was completely paper capitulation that caused those prices to drop dramatically during the Lehman crisis in 2008. And, who's to say that, this is China's Lehman moment, perhaps. And, there's going to be some parallels there with precious metals for sure. We're not seeing any physical capitulation whatsoever. I haven't had people coming and selling me gold or silver, even since metal's been down for about a year now. I got monkey hammered last year, clearly monkey hammered, and not due to fundamentals, just clear fraudulent monkey hammering mostly. And, again, this is China's Lehman moment, so perhaps there is a fundamental behind this right now. And again, gold's up, the industrial metals are down. That's kind of odd, folks. So let's see where it goes today. I'm going to do a quick refresh. It's only been a few moments, but I like this static page so I can show you guys things. But yeah, gold's still kind of holding its own a little bit up. Again, good buying opportunity for all these metals. I really like platinum at this level too. Once this manufacturing thing turns around, the chips become more available and they start producing more cars, that's going to be, you're going to see good money being made in both of these metals. And of course, silver. I think silver's been way underpriced for the longest time. One of the most underpriced metals out there, in my opinion, based on its usage, based on its strategic usage. They don't call it a strategic metal, but damn sure it is, folks. Trust me on this. Based on the fact that there's very small amount of investment money in precious metals, like gold, silver. I think I heard years ago less than 1% of 1% investment monies is in the precious metals markets. Such a small amount. Now, when that changes and when the tide turns, imagine going to 2%. That would be double of what we're looking at right now in consumption for investment on precious metals. 2% would be. I mean, just think of larger amounts of money being dropped into the precious metals markets. And this is the value of the internet, and the value of YouTube, and the value of the Wall Street apes, is to educate people out there, and people like myself and other, for anyone listening out there. Our job is to educate people on how cheap silver is, not throwing them, not showing them, hey, look at this Queen's knees or the Queen's bees or the this or that, or look at this 100-ounce bar, this cool 10-ounce bar. I mean, that'll get you so far, folks. If you're going to promote precious metals out there, promote it for what it really is, about wealth preservation. Don't tell people they're going to get rich quick off it. Just tell them the truth. It's a wealth preservation, and good possibility to make a good amount of money on it too as well. But let's move along from here, and I think we're going to continue to see these numbers right here kind of waver throughout the week, and it could go lower. I'm not quite sure how much. Great opportunity to buy the friggin' dips. BTFD, buy the friggin' dips. Meanwhile, if you're already all in, you don't have a lot of money, or you're done, spent in, just hang on and wait, relax. As I said, you're never going to wake up and see the price of gold and silver at zero. Maybe the paper markets, but not the physical markets. And there's one thing I haven't seen. I've seen capitulation in paper markets in 3 different markets, 2012, 2 different markets, I'm sorry, 2012, and the recent 2020, but I saw no physical capitulation. None of the retail folks were selling their gold and silver. That should tell you something. Well, let's move into, I'm going to mix it up a little bit today. I usually do this at the end of the videos. I'm going to do it real quick at the beginning of the videos, what the best deals out there. And I'll run through this real quick. Not a lot of precious metal news out there to talk about, so a couple articles I'll delve into. But meanwhile, best deals out there. And this is what I think are the best deals. And what I'm recommending to my customers here in South Florida. If you have a local dealer, he's probably recommending the same, I suspect. The best deal out there, in my opinion, the price of these modern commemoratives. These are made by the U.S. Mint, the same people that make silver eagles. Here we go. There's the, what is that, the 1983 Olympics. And they're common as hell. There's the Constitution 87. I think these are a premium. I think you can buy these for melt. I believe you can buy the Constitutions and the Olympics for melt. Again, the Nolan Ryan, it's not really Nolan Ryan supposedly, but it is Nolan Ryan. The Nolan Ryan silver commemorative, I do believe, has a premium, but pretty cool coin. But all of these ones you're looking at right here, you can buy for, what's the wholesale spread on these? Let's take a look here. The buy, and again, these are approximates, all right? I'm giving you wholesale spreads, not what you expect to pay as a retail person, but the wholesales. And let's take a look here. Silver commemoratives. Gosh, the buy price is like less than melt, and the sell price is about plus $2. It looks like anywhere from a $2 to $3 spread between the buy and sell with most dealers out there. Which to me, this makes this a great deal for a silver dollar. These things you can buy for, I'd sell them for spot plus $3. I think that's a really good deal while the supplies last that I have. And compared to pre-21 Morgans and that kind of things, and again, stay away from Morgan dollars and peace dollar. Unless you're a collector, don't buy those things. The prices are just ridiculous for the circulated common coins. And same thing with constitutional silver. I was pushing constitutional silver for months and months when the prices on generic bars were too high, but constitutional silver is too much money right now, folks. It's just, I'm actually surprised at how big the premium is. And what I did is I took all the constitutional silver I own in my store, and for my business that I was selling. I sold it all wholesale. I traded it out for actually a pretty cool product that I'll show you in a minute, because I could turn it into more ounces, and the price of 90 constitutional silver just got too crazy. Same thing with silver dollars. If you're sitting on silver dollars and constitutional silver, if you have a good local dealer, you might be able to make a trade that makes him a couple bucks and puts more ounces in your pocket. That's with 90%. And as far as silver dollar goes, that's for sure. U.S. Morgan dollars and peace dollars, common dates, circulated coins, if you're holding on to them, get rid of them. They're way over melt. Trade them in for some products that I'm going to show you here, including these products. You could trade in, you could get more of these, more bang for your buck. if you listen to what I'm telling you here. Best deals out there for silver right now still, I think, is 100-ounce bars, although those U.S. commemoratives are a good deal. Remember, U.S. silver dollars, not eagles, but U.S. Morgan dollars and peace dollars and commemorative dollars are, I believe, 0.77 ounces. So they're 90% fine, 0.77 ounces, but they're traded worldwide, so don't hesitate buying them. You may get a little bit less when you go to sell them. However, you paid a little bit less when you bought them. It's all relative. As far as 100-ounce bars, great deal out there. I think the wholesale spread on that is around $2 is the biggest spread I've seen between the buy and sells. So spot plus $2 generally is what they cost me if I got to go out and buy them. And wholesale and retail, folks, you should expect to pay anywhere from, I guess, depending on the quantity that you're buying, $2.50 to $3 over. That's a good deal, in my opinion. Far better than Silver Eagles, because Silver Eagles are still bringing stupid money. Avoid Silver Eagles like the plague. I love them. They're beautiful. I always talk about buying in America, but the price is just insane on them. Wouldn't advise them at all. And let's see, what are Silver Eagles? They're still bringing $7.50, $8 over spot. That's just insane, folks. Any of you stackers out there that are stacking Silver Eagles, big, bad, unless you bought them at the lower premiums or you have some magical way to buy them for the same price as 100-ounce bars. In that case, if you do, I would suspect they're probably not real. So, but at these levels of what they're getting for these things, it's a ridiculous deal. I mean, not a good deal at all. So 100-ounce bars are good. Next thing after that I would consider would be 1-ounce and 10-ounce generic bars, which you should be able to pick up for spot plus $3.75 or less. Again, avoid any products in silver that you got to pay more than a $4 premium, because you don't have to. Remember, you're not wearing these things on your neck. It's not clothing it. You're not driving it. It's not sitting in your front yard. You don't leave it generally on your dining room table for everyone to admire. These things can be buried, put away, so who gives a hell what it looks like, as long as it's a recognizable product at a cheap price. And again, if you're paying more than $4 per ounce for any silver items, you're overpaying. That's my opinion, okay? And it's all about money. The math doesn't lie. I've got a great deal on these. I can sell these for just a tiny bit more than what I'm getting for generics. I got a wonderful deal on them. It's the St. Helene. This is only for people that live in South Florida, because remember, I don't do any online sales. I don't do any mail sales or anything like that. So if you live, and you can come visit my brick and mortar store, you live in South Florida, I got a great deal on St. Helena's Angels. They're beautiful coin, just a tiny bit over the silver price. So if you're lucky enough to live near me, got a good deal on them, folks. So that's what I'm thinking about silver. The best deals out there on gold right now are still bars. I've been recommending Krugerrands, but I've just called, and I know there's a little backlog on delivery on some KRs right now, which makes me wonder, why is there backlog on any of this product still, if it's not that rare? Well, best deals out there, I think, are by the way, again, nothing wrong with the company per se, but avoid buying any bars that are branded with the company's name on it, like APMEX, SD, or JM Bullion. Avoid buying those, because most local LCSs, local coin dealers, local bullion dealers, don't like them. I mean, who would like buying and reselling a bar with a competitor's phone number and name all over it? It's just ridiculous. So, most dealers don't like them. I typically like to buy them for a little bit less than the other bars, because, again, I'm not here to advertise APMEX, JM, and SD. And they may be great companies. I advertise to beat their prices all the time. It's easy to do for a local coin store. We don't have the overhead they do. And we can get the great deals if you're well connected. But, again, avoid buying branded bars, unless you can buy them substantially cheaper than non-branded bars, in which case, what I told you about, who cares what it looks like, and you'll get discounted when you go to sell to your local coin store. Again, they don't like the branded bars as much, but best deal out there is gold bars and Krugerrands, although, again, I think Krugerrands may be getting a little tight right now in supply. Let's take a look. What are the gold bars running about? Let's see here. 1-ounce gold bars. They haven't changed much. They're still about the same as they were 6 months ago and a year ago when I was advising them, and still probably the cheapest, best product out there. Wholesale spreads are around $25 to $30. Looks like a plus 10 on the low side on the bids, and plus 35 on the high side on the ask for 1-ounce gold bars. And depending on the profit margin, we generally make about $45 an ounce or less on these products. And I look every day and see what APMEX, SD, and JM is selling for, because I'm going to be at their prices or slightly lower. And even if I'm at their prices, I can still beat the service, because face to face. It's not like clicking a box. How many do you want? 3. Fill in your credit card. I mean, blah blah blah. All right. When you have a local dealer, when you have a local precious metal dealer or coin dealer, that you can go in and create some, talk to them and become a good customer. Vice versa, they'll enjoy you as a good customer if they're a good dealer. You get the advice, you get the experience that you can talk to someone and you can say to your local dealer, Mr. Dealer, I know bars were a good deal, but what's the best deal today? And if you got a good local deal, and I find most local dealers are pretty good, although there's some real cantankerous assholes out there, just avoid them and take another hour drive and go somewhere else a little further. It's worth the drive. Keep that money local. But they'll give you always the best deal. Now, any of these bars right here, I love the Pamp bar. These bars are great. And Perth Mint bars. These are all great bars. Again, try to avoid the company branded bars like Atmex, JM, and SD. And like I said, the secondary guys don't like them unless you can buy them cheap. And what else is out there? Krugerrands. Again, I like Krugerrands. I think they're about $5 more. We retail them for about $5 more than the bars. And I know I'm all about price, and I'm cheap like that. Even $5 cheap, but when Krugerrands got to the point where they were within $5 of the price of bars, I started recommending them to my customer again. For some reason, retail people are more comfortable with buying coins than bars. They have the false illusion that bars are easy to counterfeit and coins are not, or it's easier to tell a real coin than a bar, which is totally not true. If someone can't tell what a real gold bar looks like, then they certainly can't tell you what a real Krugerrand looks like. But no less, that's the general perception. So for $5, I was recommending KRs just to make the retail customers a little more comfortable with that. And also, I like the ring test that you can do with Krugerrands and Eagles that you can't do with gold bars too. A really simple counterfeit test just by ringing it by the sound. I've done a video on that before, so I can't go into that. And we've got a few more things to go over here. So those are the best deals out there next to bars or Krugerrands. And above that would be Maple Leafs. However, given the Maple Leaf premium of what they're getting for it, and there's no ring, you can't ring test a Maple Leaf, and what the bars are costing, I would definitely go with bars before I went with Maples. Krugerrands are close. However, again, there may be some delays on Krugerrands. If that's the case, stick with the bars if there's no delays. And that's my opinion what the best products are. And as I said earlier, buy local. Spend it here, keep it here. When my customers come in and they spend money with me, I spend it back with them. If one of my customers is a local tackle shop, him and his crew have been coming in buying, fishing tackle and that kind of stuff. T&R Tackle, actually, down the street from my store, in case you don't know. They've been buying gold and silver off me for quite some time, and I go back and I spend that money back with them, too. I spend it in my community. Folks, in these economic times, I can't tell you how important it is to keeping that money in your community. Even if you don't like your local elected officials, whatever blue or red flavor they are, spend it local and try to keep it local. And if you can't find anyone close to you, take a little travel, spend an hour. Because I tell you what, you are going to be very happy when it comes time to sell some of your precious metals or do some trading or something like that, that you have someone local to, because you're not going to be able, well, you will, but you're not going to feel comfortable shipping your precious metals back to SD, JM, or Atmex Bullion. Not because they're doing anything wrong. We don't think they will. Only because, do you really want to ship your stuff in the mail? Now you got to get insurance, properly pack it, hope it gets there, all kinds of stuff like that. So I don't see that scenario happening. Develop yourself a good local store, precious metal dealer. And the best advice I can give you is make sure they're competitive. Hey, they can be cantankerous, but we can deal with that. But make sure they're competitive, and make sure they've been around for at least 10 years. I like the 10-year mark. You can go a little bit less than that, but if they've been around for 10 years, they've done something right. That's not always true. I do know guys have been around for longer than 10 years that are complete scumbags, but you'll be able to know that. Go with your gut feeling when you go in. Always follow your gut when it comes to your money. Your gut is usually right. Well, articles. What are we going to talk about real quick here? And let me see here. Let me go into the article here. Sorry about that. Make my page a little bit bigger. Didn't mean to show you the short page there. And let's see. Now that good article by Charles Hugh Smith. I like this. And one of the things I'd put him on my bookmark bar. If you like politics, economics, he kind of delves into both. The guy is really, really brilliant, and I like his writing. And I'd recommend putting him on your bookmark bar for sure. The comment down here that really kind of got me was at the very end. Where is it? Trying to reach the same level. All right, here we go. Trying to reach the same level as the already wealthy is a path to burnout and frustration, as the chasm is too wide, too deep. Those gambling in the greatest bubble of all time, GBOAT, casino, are winning now. You know, stocks, bonds, equities markets, they've been winning. Many of us that aren't in that market or aren't in that market heavily or look at that market with a discerning eye constantly are winning. Where are the fundamentals? Why does that market keep going up? Well, we know why it keeps going up. Printed money, endless credit. That keeps getting dumped back in there because there's no return anywhere else. But that'll end real quickly. But hold on, as Charles says here, those gambling in GBOAT casino are winning now, but relying on number 22 coming up again and again is becoming increasingly risky. As you know, I like to compare the equities market lately to the casinos, as I do crypto markets, and that's what you're dealing with is a casino here. You just keep hoping that the Fed keeps giving cheap money and people keep dumping money into the same market you are, because that's all that's keeping it up. There's no fundamentals behind it. When's the last time Apple made a great product? Not in a long freaking time, folks. And look at these numbers, especially Facebook, the way they've become such a piece of, I'm not going to say it, anyways, why are these markets going up? There's really no good fundamentals behind it. In other words, membership in the already wealthy based on speculative gains may prove more temporary than expected. And the already wealthy and their minions are unprepared for the smart crowd opting out. In their precious naivety, the technocrat class reckons, they say that 3 times fast, the technocrat class reckons a few more dollars an hour will lure the smart crowd back into wage debt. Oh boy, I don't even know that word. Oh wow, learned a new one today. Penury. That's what I love about this guy. He throws new words at me. I'm going to say penury. And wet dage. It sounds like something that has to do with slavery there a little bit. Penury. All right. The failure of their pathetic little carrot to entice the burned out donkeys back to the harness and making billionaires wealthier in exchange for, well, nothing of any real value will be a great shock for those who believe that since the status quo works great for me, it works great for everyone else. And this is the scenario out there right now, folks. Charles is basically talking about all these jobs are out there, but people aren't going after these jobs. Why? Because I think people have, I don't want to use the word woke, because the word woke is kind of, well, some people that use the term and are woke are not too bright in my opinion. But let's just say some people have awakened from the propaganda and awakened from the deep sleep of corporate media, and that everything's okay and go back to sleep and we got things handled. People aren't believing that anymore, and nobody wants to go back to these stupid jobs. I can't blame them if you really think about it. Why do you want to go back to a job that you can't, even if you worked in a 60-hour week, you can't catch up with the inflation that we got going on right now? So something has to change, and that's a free market. A free market is supply and demand. If you can't get the supply out there, then you can't get the employees to come back to work. What do you've got to do? You've either got to raise the what they're making, or you need to lower the cost. So which one of those are going to happen first? Well, I don't see businesses raising salaries. I don't. Only reason is because a lot of businesses, especially small businesses, were barely making it then. And you got to admit, once this free money stops ending for these big corporations, they're not going to be able to afford to pay their people either. They're going to be in the same boat of thin margins. So prices are going to come down. What's the likelihood of that? I don't know. This is a weird world we're living in, folks. Let me move along to another article. I've been liking Seeking Alpha. What a great subscription this is. They've got all kinds of cool stuff here. I'm not an equities guy, but I'm going to start playing equities a little bit more and learn some stuff. I'm a firm believer in blood in the street. So when the economic collapse really bangs hard here, and stocks get hammered and bonds get hammered and all that stuff gets hammered, I'm probably going to play in the stock market. Hopefully gold and silver will be way high. I'll lay off some of that stuff, especially if it's in a bubble. I'll lay off some gold and silver in a bubble where I feel it's in a bubble, and I'll get into that market if it's timed properly. But no less, pretty cool site, which is Seeking Alpha. They got some good articles on here. This article, what I wanted to bring up was this. And again, I'm reading parts of these I highly recommend, like with Charles Hugh Smith, that you go back and read his whole article. It's really good. If I read the whole thing, we'd be here for 4 hours. And again, didn't mean to read the last part of it, but the middle and the top is just as interesting. The bottom just kind of gave you a synopsis of the thinking there. And this article, hang on, let's take a look, is Gold Futures Taper Tantrum, and it's done by Adam Hamilton, young guy. Doesn't look like he's been through more than a market or two in precious metals. I like to listen to the older guys that have been through a few markets, but no less, he's got some interesting stuff here. And nothing wrong with the younger guys, but again, experience pays. Gold's much feared next QE taper tantrum may have already happened in slow motion in recent months. You know, that's tough to say whether the retraction of gold, you know, the retraction of the price of gold is because people are afraid of QE. I don't think the general public understands the relationship between QE and the price of gold. I don't think the professionals understand that the correlation between the price of gold and QE and rising interest rates is merely some bullshit narrative that someone made up and has stuck for years and years and years. The idea that gold does poorly when interest rates are high flies in the face of reality if you take a look at Greenspan during the Carter administration, raising interest rates to some absurd level. At the same time, precious metals were just off the hook crazy as well in prices. Some people will say, well, you know, gold doesn't pay dividends, and silver doesn't pay dividends, and you know, if interest rates you know, go up, again, interest rates have to be high enough to cover what the cost of inflation is. They're never going to catch up with that, folks. The idea that that you're going to get a return on something when inflation is at these levels is ludicrous. So that QE tantrum that affects price of gold, oh, if they QE, if they taper, it's going to cause price, is total bullshit. Total bullshit. However, it's amazing how many large institutional traders believe that bullshit, and how many young guys believe that bullshit too. It's a bullshit narrative, and all it is a narrative. There's no truth behind it whatsoever. There's no good reason for price of gold to go down just because of QE. Now, if the government came out and paid a bond that was paying 10% or something like that, you know, or 12% or whatever above the inflation and everything, then you say, hey, man, that's guaranteed. Maybe. It's probably a Ponzi, though, but that's guaranteed. That's not a bad deal. But the rates that they're talking and QE tapering, they're talking about bullshit. It should have no effect on the price of metals other than the psychological impact of that bullshit narrative. Sorry. That has expanded much of their selling fire. Okay, let me move along here. Gold future speculators have done massive amounts of selling in anticipating of Fed tightening nearing. Who are these gold future speculators? Really, I'm asking this question, and how can they be that fucking stupid? Excuse me, I threw off the F-bomb, but really, do they know anything about the QE tapering and what they're really talking about? The tapering is going to be meaningless to the price of gold. In fact, it should probably just do the opposite in reality. However, again, these large institutional traders, if they exist out there and they're not manipulated around, believe that bullshit narrative. They're stupid. That's because they hire people in their 20s that really have no clue, haven't been through different markets, and really don't question the narrative. That's the thing you should do, folks. Question narratives. General market conditions, I have to agree with him on this. General market conditions today are far more bullish for gold than they were leading into June 2013 taper tantrum. Gold's outlook is way more bullish than most traders realize. Hey, from your lips to the gold god's ears, thank you, Adam Hamilton. I got to agree with you 100% on that. Adam does kind of an interesting article, although he's focusing too much on the numbers and too much on the bullshit QE narrative. However, if people believe the narrative, then that's the market you got to deal with, and it is true. People believe that narrative, folks, and it does move around the price of gold. Bullshit narratives move markets. You see it all the time. And there was one other part down here I wanted to read, but I'm going to see how long this is. God, if we read this whole thing, this would be a 2-day show. A good article written by him, and where is it? Oh, geez. You know what? Let's move along from here. Hold on. Here it is, the bottom line. The bottom line is gold's much feared next QE taper tantrum. Much feared. Here, let me put my own thought in here. Much feared by people that don't think and use their heads. Okay? There's nothing to fear. But no less, no less perception is reality. So if people have this bullshit narrative in their mind, they're really afraid of it, then that's going to be the reality of the situation. Gold future speculators have done massive amounts of selling in anticipation of Fed tightening nearing. I don't know. Is he also confusing that this is institutional speculators, or is there some amount of paper unwinding going on here as well, which is a possibility? Are they moving out of the paper assets, which appears to be institutional selling because of QE? I think that Adam is confused with in my opinion, and I like his article, I think he's confused with what QE really, what the effects of QE tapering really would be based on the amount of QE they'd be doing and the amount they would raise interest rates. And the fact that if you look back on the Greenspan era and gold and silver were flying at the same time interest rates were, that narrative is incorrect. Again, got any comments, put it in the, let me know what you think. Put it in the comment section below. And I'd like to thank Adam for a very nice article as well. If you get a chance, you can read this free, I believe, on Seeking Alpha. They do allow you to read some of the articles for free there. You don't have to be a subscriber. Get into zero hedge real quick. I like to separate the world into three types of people. Parasites, predators, and producers. If you are a working class person, you are a producer. If you're a business person, you are a producer. Most business people, small business people particularly. So working class people and small business people are producers. Some big corporations are producers, not all. Some are parasitic. Some rely on government to make it to where they're going, forcing you to use their product or getting special privileges. That's, to me, that's parasitic. So anyway, why am I getting into this? Because if you listen to my shows in the future, I'm gonna use those words. And here's the first one that I'm going to use: parasitic, right there. See that circle? There's a parasitic person right there. And most people, in reds and blue, are parasitic in my opinion. Where was? Morgan Stanley warns of odd, destructive 20% correction are rising. Morgan Stanley, yeah, they put out some deal where a couple of them they think there's going to be a 20% correction in the stock and equity market. I think they're being a bit conservative there because when that waterfall or when that dam breaks, watch out. However, they've been through this once before. Maybe they know how to manipulate their way around it again. You never know. And China's black swan has arrived. Contagion ignites. Let's see where this goes with this China Lehman moment. Again, when we took a look, let's go look at markets one more time real quick. I'm going to do a quick refresh here, and let's see where we're at. Gold up 1085. Silver up a little bit too, and the other two industrial metals. Again, these are pure industrial metals here, folks. So this should, look at palladium. Wow. This should not surprise you right here. That these metals are down. And in fact, it's kind of playing out the way I thought it would in the reality. And let's move back here because, again, I'm hopping around like a overinflated basketball. Let's see. Trump Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin launches 2.5 private equity fund. God, all these guys. Too big to fail, too big to jail. Screw these people. This was what I wanted to talk about real quick. Not too much. There's no gold or silver news here, by the way, that I can spot. So we're going to move along quickly. But Doc Copper sending a historic bearish message to stocks. Well, and he's basically talking about the copper prices. However, it's exactly what we were just talking about with palladium and platinum, industrial uses. Now, I would expect to see copper right now get hit pretty hard. I don't know if there's if copper, above ground copper supplies and stocks are really up there. There's plenty out there. That I'm not sure about. However, in an environment where you've got industrial uses slowing down, they're not using as much copper, and maybe some of these big corporations out there have large amounts of copper or had positions in copper for their companies to use for whatever products they're making, and now it's slowing down and they're saying, well, we don't need this, we'll sell into that market. So I think what we're seeing right now with copper and palladium and platinum and maybe some industrial metals right now is a slowdown, and slowdown in manufacturing and a slowdown in the economy. I think we're starting to see it because, as I said, we were supposed to have a V recovery. They talked about V. There's no V freaking recovery. I knew that the moment I heard the word V recovery. At best, what we've had here the last 6 months, the last year, is a dead cat bounce, folks. From where it goes from here, I think it's just downhill personally. And wow, U.S. stocks hit with second biggest sell program in history. You know, gosh, my gut tells me, I've been talking about this for about a month now, I have a gut feeling something big's happening out there, and I can't even define what it is. I just feel it. Anyways, you'll be glad you own precious metals, folks, when this does take place, whatever my gut feeling is telling me. Well, Wall Street silver. I love the enthusiasm of these guys. I'm going to start posting out here more. I put a few of my videos out here for some folks to take a look at. Excuse me one second. Let me take a quick drink of coffee here. And I think they're up to 130,000 folks out there. If you scroll down the pages, if you're not familiar with Wall Street silver, again, one of the things I like most is the enthusiasm out here. I'd like to see more, the enthusiasm is great, people sharing their products. I don't like it when people open up their safes and sell their safes and all the gold and silver they own. That's a security risk, in my opinion, not a smart idea. But, a lot of guys out there will show what they just got in. Shout out to whoever he deals with. Hey, go local, dude. And KRs. Hopefully he's not paying more than $4 per ounce premium on any of this stuff, and most of these guys aren't. I have a sneaking suspicion they are, though. The problem with some folks is they like shiny things and nice designs, and that will kind of get their attention, and they'll end up paying more than they should per ounce for their stuff because of a shiny coin and a cool design. I don't recommend that. If you like collecting, then go completely collecting. Start collecting really rare coins. This gentleman saved all month, bought his first 10-ounce bars. Congratulations, sir. That's pretty cool. And this is the kind of stuff you need to be buying, paying less than $4 per ounce premium. Not Silver Eagles, in my opinion. And gosh, let's see here. Paper, what was that? Facebook and Facebook. Sorry. Paper versus real silver. Last Friday, I ordered a kilogram bar. Now I called the deal. They told me it can take up to 10 days and we'll receive new kilogram bars. This gentleman says he's in Switzerland. It's kind of interesting to hear that retailers are having delays in Switzerland, especially on kilogram bars. I figure those would be pretty easy to make. Oh, look, they broke 130,000 subscribers, like I said. And Silverstack, mail call this month. They got this cute thing called mail call, and what people got coming in. And again, as long as these products, this gentleman is paying no more than $4 per ounce premium on this stuff, wonderful. I think he's doing a great job. I'd say that for most people. You know what's lacking here, though? Oh, I had a great deal on these. I had these at Spot Plus $375 for a couple weeks here, selling about the same price as generics. But you know what is lacking out here on Silver Wall Street? I just don't see real educational videos directing, or educational comments directing people what to buy, what to avoid, maybe where to buy it, why you should, about wealth preservation and that kind of thing. But stocks and silver correlation, there's a few articles like this, but no less, what an awesome website. One of the things that I like about it, again, and I hope that this 130,000 subscribers go out there and don't just show people their shiny silver coins and their cool designs. I hope they go out there and educate people on why they need to be in precious metals. Educate people why gold and silver is never going to go to zero. They're never going to wake up and hear it went bankrupt. Why it's a case of wealth preservation more than it is of getting rich quick. All those things. I hope there's people out there discussing that. I'd like to see more of that in post, but I haven't been on here long enough to tell you that they don't do that already. If anyone makes a comment below, let me know. I'd sure like to see some more people educating people on this forum out here. And where are from here? The misuse of knowledge in society. Intervention means prices are lying. And this article kind of ties in what we're talking about, is that here we go. And what it was I just talking about as far as the prices of gold and silver and the paper markets and capitulation and all this stuff in here. Really good article done by this gentleman, Art Caden. You should have this on your bookmark bar because it's one of the best political economic websites out there, bar none. Good different narratives, good different opinions, educated opinions, not idiots, and there's no corporate media spin. Love this site. AIER should be on your website. You should read it every morning. Again, avoid corporate news. Don't turn on that TV. I haven't watched corporate news since 2008, and I am smarter for it and far better off for it. Trust me on this. The misuse of knowledge in society. And he talks about intervention in prices, intervention in, when China says they're going to go in and they're going to intervene in the inflation of iron and aluminum stocks, and they go in and they artificially direct those markets. Well, it's the same thing with precious metals. We got the same thing going on. China comes out and says they're going to do it outright. Western countries and central banks and governments, they do it behind your back. Oh, we're not doing that. We're everything, nothing to see. And they do it anyway. So there's not much difference between the two, except one is more open about it, and the other one one was more open. The Chinese are more open about it. CCP is more open about it and more screw you in your face about it. Our government is more and central banks they hide it more, and they use that hiding to their advantage, actually, so they can make more money and screw you worse. So I don't know who's better or who's worse, but no less, this gentleman talks about the prices of these different products and how governments can come in and intervene in metals markets, and again, they do that. I'm going to read this part that he says here. We rinse and repeat for other ways prices lie when they are controlled. Interest rate controls create credit shortages and misallocations. Correct. Taxes create deadweight loss, so do subsidies, and tariffs and inflation causes price confusion and money illusion. Wonderful article. Again, love to read this thing to you, but I'm just going to read you the end part here. Again, I'm not spoiling the article. It's not like a movie where I'm reading the end and I spoil the whole thing for you. This should just give you a good reason to read it. Prices are harder to interpret when they aren't stable, and changes in the price level make it easier for people to think they are richer or poorer, even when they aren't. The cruel irony, it's easy to blame greed, selfishness, or myopia when in fact, people are doing the best they can with bad information. In this case, unreliable prices. It's like, what was I just talking about? Bad information. Bad information being tapering is bad for gold. That's just bad effing information. Bad information, folks. And this article, he points that out. Great. People aren't trading because they're selfish or anything. They're trading on bad information. In this case, unreliable prices. It's the same thing we got with precious metals, folks. It's like a computer programming or anything else. Garbage in, garbage out. And as I said, and I will continue to say, if you listen to governments, officials, and corporate media, you're getting garbage. And all you're going to get using that garbage is garbage out, and you're going to ruin your life. Avoid corporate news, corporate media. I would avoid it. Don't even listen to corporate media. And the only reason you would listen to them is just to find out what lies and narratives they're spinning for the most part. As far as governments and politicians, officials and stuff, I say the same thing. You want to listen occasionally just to see what new bullshit they're spinning. That's about it. So you can trade properly on the bullshit, not get spun in by it. Well, great article. And, hold on. People make bad enough choices even when they have reliable information. A few minutes of introspection and reflection should be enough to convince us all. That's what I've been telling you folks for a year and a half. Think for yourselves. Avoid corporate media. Avoid the lies and the bullshits and the narratives. But unfortunately, making prices less accurate and less reliable with well-intentioned but misguided controls compounds the problem. It leads to an even bigger pile of errors, a misuse of knowledge in society, in other words. Great work, Art. Really appreciate the article, and I think you nailed it pretty much. Garbage in, garbage out. That's exactly what you got going on with government, their officials, the politicians, and the corporate media. Garbage in, garbage out. Even if they're well-intentioned, I believe some of them are well-intentioned, they just get garbage. So, if they're dealing in garbage, they're going to spew it out to you. GATA.org, for folks that are not regular subscribers to me, if you are a gold and silver stacker, this must be on your bookmark bar, period. If you want to know how the game is played, who the cheaters are, how they play the game, how they rig the game, who the casino is, and all that good stuff, you need to be reading GATA.org daily. These guys are going to tell you who, when, and how. Make sure you read the basics first before you do anything else. This explains exactly why you should be reading GATA.org on a daily basis. Again, not too much directly to talk about here. They talk about the conference they had last month. Kyrgyzstan blocked from London gold. That doesn't affect us too much. Maybe just one less producer out there. The petrodollar is ending, so what next? We talked about that last week. And apparently Dallas Fed president traded on S&P futures, which It's kind of funny. These guys just continue to get richer and richer and richer. Again, if you're not part of the inside, you're the outside. We're the outside, folks. However, if you know who the players are, who the cheaters are, how the casino rigs the game, you can be a winner, and that's why we're going to win, folks. Well, that's it for today, and I'm going to close it out with, oh man, videos. I'm going to talk about what our video was on, oh geez, what was our video? Gold and silver Lehman moment. That was Friday's video, and I'm going to have to go through, whoops, sorry about that, real quick here. And, oh, sorry, close your eyes, going to make you dizzy here, some of you folks. JP first, awesome. Dario says, late but happy. Yeah, sorry about getting that show out late on Friday. Fridays are tough. It's a crunch day for me, and my apology. Nice thumbnail. Thank you very much. Last Living Cowboy. Brian, report these. I got porno bots. Hey, I must be popular or someone if I got a porno bot on my comment section. Thanks for watching Last Living Cowboy. Peace and grace. One factor you did not consider in gold's rise from 714 is the sheer amount of fiat dollar creation is actually known as published figures are not even close to the full amount. Just one example, Hank Paulson told Congress, give me 700 billion on the system, burns it to the ground, and that figure just turns out to be actually 15 trillion. Yeah, as I said, what we were just talking about, peace and grace, is that that's exactly what we got going on. We've got misinformation, we've got propaganda narratives being created by corporate media and boneheads, idiots in D.C. and you know, you got the morons running the show, more or less. The morons are running the show. Thanks for watching, peace and grace. I appreciate it. I appreciate your comment. Chris says I'm holding off till next Wednesday. That's 2 days from now. Let's see. Yeah, we could see some lower prices. Tough to say, but almost feels like just because it didn't get monkey hammered last night, but that's not saying much. These patterns don't always come, you know, patterns aren't always correct that I recognize. They work until they don't. We've seen monkey hammering happening throughout the week now, so we could see some more tomorrow or possibly Wednesday. Let's see what happens. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Yeah, I agree 100% now we ride. Thanks for watching. D-Man, I enjoy you commenting too, sir. I appreciate that. Helen says, hi from England. Like to keep it simply no fear. Precious metals won't rise. Money printing stock market. Love it when the fear kicks in. Parabolic prices are coming from gold and silver, from your mouth to the gold and silver god's ears. I hope they're listening, Helen. Thanks. Ernest Borella says, I think dealers are in on it. Otherwise, they would put pressure on the government to put a stop to it. Fraud is fraud, big or small. If it wasn't the New York mob, FBI, Cal would be on them like white. Okay, well, the big dealers. Who are the big dealers? Government dealers. I kind of, yeah, I know what you're talking about, Ernest. Here, my first thought was you're talking about the small retailer dealers, but no, you're talking about the folks that are doing the dirty work for the Fed and the BIS and moving markets around, gold swaps, all that crazy shit. I wouldn't argue with that. I think that's very true. Fraud is fraud. And the reason that it's not investigated because it's too complicated. And they also walk a fine gray line. And the biggest reason that it's not investigated because our agencies, our investigative agencies, and our security, people that are supposed to make sure that things are done properly, the people that were watching Bernie Madoff while he was scamming out of $8 billion or whatever the hell it was. These people are inept. They're stupid. They're morons. They have no feckin' clue what they're doing. How they got their jobs as regulators, I have no clue. So there's your answer right there. If you're counting on regulators to save markets or make things right, you got another thing coming. These people are bigger idiots or are in bed with these people, one or the other. Again, that's my opinion. Linda says J.P. Morgan has bonds in the China real estate. Yeah, that's Linda. Thanks for bringing it up. It's tough to say what's going to happen. I mean, this could be a cascading effect with banks and bonds here. However, I'm sure they're all working on it, and maybe they limited their exposure. Maybe they even caused it. Thanks for watching, Linda. Pure Gold says too much silver is mined and supplied. We pay miner, not supply silver. Watch the price rise. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Silver is mined and supplies. I don't think you can limit miners. I don't think they'd want to. However, mining companies are often run by bean counters people that got their schooling in bean counting. They don't understand the gold and silver markets. They don't understand who the players are. They don't even understand that they're being manipulated themselves. Trust me, people that think that the CEOs of these mining companies are brilliant, they're good at, the good ones are good at running mines. That's it. When it comes to pointing out, price manipulation and fraud and this stuff, they're as clueless as anyone else. They really are. And in fact, they want to be clueless. You think these mining CEOs and these mining companies want to believe that they're being manipulated and screwed? Of course they don't. So they're gonna avoid that topic. And if they're not going to avoid it, they're going to deny it. However, but it is true. These guys are not brilliant in any sense of the form when it comes to recognizing this stuff. Either that or they don't care. Sean says, thanks for watching Pure Gold. Just wanted your opinion on the scarcity of silver in the ground and thought if it was a real, above ground, below ground. Oh, yeah, I did the show on that. Sorry about that, Sean. I already answered the question. Brad says, I don't agree with you on buying blue states. I hope they fail. Well, there's good people that live in these blue states, so I don't want the good people to fail because the majority of the voters that surround them are idiots and morons, and they vote for morons and idiots. But I don't want these people to fail. So, and I certainly don't want some good guy that's living in a blue state, unfortunately, and he grew up there, and watch these morons take control. I don't want to see him go under either. So no, I still want you to deal locally if you can. Just find someone good that views the world the way you do. Thanks for watching, Brenda. I appreciate it. Silver is going down. Great time to back up the truck. Buy the frickin' dip, RD. I agree. Michael, thank you, sir. On 3T says, Brian, been following you for a while. Your insights informed. And thank you. That's nice of you to say. Again, it's just my opinion. And my opinion is just based on me doing this basically almost full-time since 1977, being a second-generation dealer, retailer, and wholesaler in precious metals and rare coins. Not many people know that. All my local LCs are no better than buying online. It's about maximizing the premium they get. Well, let me tell you, go find the guy that seems the most amicable and the easiest one to get along with. When he's not busy, say, listen, I have been buying online. I spend this much money. I would rather spend it to you. Can you lower, meet, or come close to this price? And I'll come to you instead of them. Let me tell you, any smart businessman will say yes to that. So, just present it. Present the case. Go to one or two. See if you say, listen, if you can beat this or match it, or maybe even a tiny bit more, because I can pick it up right now, or you're local and I can pick it up next week and I know you're here. And that's what I would suggest. Go out and ask. It doesn't hurt to ask, even if they seem like they're maximizing. Everybody wants to maximize, even you, sir. Can't fault them for that. But listen, no one wants to lose business. So if they're going to get your business versus get nothing, I would mention that and do it nicely. Hey, thanks for watching on 3T. I appreciate it. Robin Duggan says, I enjoy your comments too. Thank you very much. What do I think of an IRA for precious metals when a third party holds metal? I don't think much about it. I'm not a big fan of Kitco. I'm not a big fan of Sprott. I put money in Sprott. I like Eric Sprott, by the way, and I like their podcasts and I like what they say. However, you got to understand what Sprott is before you just think you're buying silver. It's some sort of trust. I put money back in there when silver was around $15 an ounce, and I forgot all about it. I looked recently, and it's worth half of what it was. I don't know why. The gentleman at Sprott tried to explain it to me. It was my fault. I didn't understand the prospectus. And no, I don't like it. If you have to own an IRA, which some of us don't have to, if you had to own an IRA, yeah, but again, I'd read about a Sprott and see what it is, and find out how long you need to be in it before before the trust starts taking money out of it. I don't know how that works. No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Unless you have to have a IRA, no, I don't like it at all. I don't see any good reason behind it. I think there's probably other things you should put in IRA. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. But when it comes to gold and silver and precious metals, own the real thing. Don't own a piece of paper. That way you'll eliminate third-party risk entirely. Best Seed Orchid says, I'm glad someone else sees obvious manipulation. The question is who and why. I tell you what, I'm going to tell you exactly where to go look. Go read Ted Butler, T-E-D Butler, B-U-T-L-E-R, probably the smartest man when it comes to precious metals manipulation in the silver markets, knows more than anyone else. He will explain it to you. There's plenty of his stuff you can read for free online. Take a look at that Best Seed Orchid, and you'll get the scoop on it. That's the guy that I trust when it comes to who's manipulating the silver, and GATA.org, which I just recommended. Read the basics there for sure. Hey, good to see you, Dumb Things You See. Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. I have taught my staff how to, they pretend they're me, at least when they quote prices and quote products and the stuff that I believe in. Thanks for coming in. Lola says physical precious metals will never make you quick rich. They will just let you survive. True, but not true. I'm always, if you go into it with the idea of wealth preservation, you will never get disappointed with precious metals. Ever, ever, ever. You won't get disappointed. If you go in it with the expectation of getting rich quick, you will be highly disappointed. Of course, unless you happen to be at the perfect time in the beginning of a bull market and a bubbly market in precious metals, and then you can make a lot of money. And the problem with that is once you've done that, you think you can do it all the time. So again, wealth preservation, I can't say it enough times. Hey, thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate the comments out there and all the views and everything. If you're new to my videos, make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. I really appreciate. There's a like button and a subscribe button as well. As you can see, I am subscribed to myself even. So. Well, this is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime between 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. If you live in South Florida, happy to help you with your purchases or any questions you may have or what the best deal of the day is. If you don't live in my area, please leave. If you got any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in comments. You know I like to answer stuff, so happy to answer any questions you may have and that kind of thing. However, if you don't live in my area and you are in a situation where you're being ripped off by somebody or ripped off by a dealer or you're going to stand to lose some real serious money, you're going to lose money, call me. If I'm not in or if I'm not available, just leave a message and I'll try to get back to you because I'm always willing to help anybody all over the world if they're in a bad situation. Well, thanks for watching. That's about it. This is Brian Kuzmar signing off. Talk to you tomorrow and let's see what happens. Bye now.